Hello ladies and gents, welcome back to Howden Vaults. Today's video we're going to be looking at the history of Butler Green, its shops, its church and its communities. First one we want to do is have a tour of all the shops from 1916, roughly find out where they would be, and then we're going to be going in and having a look at the church which stood at the top of Coast Green Road and Butler Green, and then we will move on to the present day shops as from Google Maps. So if you like these sorts of videos, give it a like so I know what you like and stuff, and give it a subscribe and support the channel. So first we're starting here near Sun Trap and what will used to be Hills Bakery, and I think this used to be roughly the location of number 13 Butler Green, as Dorothy Street is where one stop is, would have run down to Arden Street, and you would add number 13, which would have been Christopher Spence's Butchers, and then I think around here, roughly before you get to our Tarts, you would have had number 21, William H. Tatlow Beer Retailers, before you get to Val Tarts. And then after Val Tarts, or actually next door to Val Tarts, you will have then this one I think is, you would have had in this one here, which was part of Val Tarts, you would have had number 25 William Lee's a Cloggers, and then before you get to School Street down there, you've had half a Hawley a Greengrocers. So I'll join you again in a minute on the opposite side of the carriageway towards that way, towards Washbrook Church, where we'll pick up number 8 to number 40 Butler Green in 1916. So without further ado, let's get going over to that side. Right, you're joining us back again now. So along this section of Butler Green, where the grass verge is now and all the houses and flats, you would have had rows of shops along here, and starting where the roundabout is, and that roundabout sign from the top, you would add number 8, which was Thomas B. Patch, what was a dry salters. And dry salters used to sell chemicals like glue, varnish or dye, and sometimes unsold dry meats and stuff like that. And then you would have had number 10 and 12, which would have been Joseph School's Drapers. After that, then you would add number 16 Fred Randall's a Plumber, and then you would have had number 18 the town sub post office, and Jason Barrington at Ironmongers at number 18. Number 20 you would have Joseph Jackson's Calvert at number 20, a confectioner. Then at number 22 you would have John Stafford, a fruiterer. Then roughly about where that house is now, you would have had Nelson Street, and then you had number 24 and number 26. Number 24 with Mrs. Betsy Schofield, a shopkeeper, and number 26 was George Thornton, a painter. And then you had Wallace Street, where we go now. So we're just here at Wallace Street, and then just on the opposite side of Wallace Street to where the gardens is there, you would have had number 38 Warwick, a shopkeeper, and then you had number 40 Ammon Borden, a fast fish dealer, and then you've got Fieldsy Road and Thompson Lane at the top. So just behind where that electric substation is, you also have the public toilets behind there as well. So that's everything for the shops on this section of Butler Green in 1916. Before 1970s, I think, redevelopment, you also had like brown stores along here and other traders. Then I think around 1970s, all this area was cleared and redeveloped. I could be wrong, but we'll join you back on the next clip where we'll look at the Washbrook Methodist Church. So, we are in a bit of a peculiar location for Washbrook Methodist Church. We are on Stanley Road, nearby the Stanley Road Bridge. And we're starting here is because this is where it all started, on Stanley Road. So, let's get started. But from the beginning of the notes I've got, well, it may be a bit out of sync. This church came in autumn to winter of 1861 to 62 as a result of outreach by the evangelists from the Primitive Methodist Church on Bourne Street in Hollingwood. Adapted from the spiritual impressions, was formed in 1862. Originally started in the Loom House building, which stood around about here somewhere. But the building became too small for the commitments. So we will join you in a second for the next part of this clip, as it will start over there at Washbrook Court as the next part of the story comes in then. If you want more information on this church, I'm only giving you a brief insight into this, you can check out my Methodist history, and that tells you all about the churches in the area which became part of South Chadderton Methodist Church, I think. So I'll join you back over at Washbrook Court. So we're now at the location of Washbrook Church. So we were leaving just down there at the Loom House, and we're now back here. By 1869, a chapel and a schoolroom was erected on that site now where the shops are. And the Washbrook Church we all recognised with the clock opened on 11th of March 1893, and we're not too sure when the demolition of the church was demolished, but and brain fart. So after the church was demolished, these 8 also retail units, or 9 retail units, was opened, and they had a variety of uses. But if you probably can tell, we've got a clock what's not worked for donkey's years on there on the side of a building. And this area has changed drastically, and I will put a couple pictures up of the church, what I find. So yeah, without further ado, I will get on to looking more into detail what them 2 shops with the grey roller shutters are going to be coming very shortly, and we'll look at the history of the shops as well. So if you would join us over there in a second. Right, so unit 1, which is just there, that's been air controlled from the 2000s to present, so that's been the longest serving shop on this section. Then unit 2, which is that one, it started life as I remember it as Age UK Metro Oldham prior to 2009. Then it became Discount Food and Drink from 2009. Then it got knocked through with General Store in around 2012. And then this one here, Unit 3, is Coast Green Road, News, 2009. And it became a general store, in 2012 until around 2018. Then this building here, which is now Kay's Cuts, or it used to be Kay's Cuts, but the signage is gone. So I don't know if it's staying as Kay's Cuts or not, but it was originally Butler Green Pharmacy prior to 2009. Then it was a bargain store, and it was Kay's Cuts what it was last occupancy. Before we get around to 5, 6, 7 and 8 and 9, which is around the side, I want to just let you know what's happening with these two buildings here. So these two buildings have been bought by First Choice Homes Oldham to become two separate 1-bedroomed flats. In that one there and that one there, I'll put a floor plan up and the proposed changes, but it's going to have a new window, new replacement bricks and a replacement door. All this is going to be going, and so only on this precinct you would have had air control and the what would be Kay's Cuts if it's staying as that. So we'll join you around the side for 5, 6, 7 and 8 in a minute. We are now at units 5, 6 and 7, which has always been the post office, a dental repair surgery thingamabob, and then One Stop, which used to be Spa, I believe. And then units 8 and 9. Unit 8 was Hill's Bakery, but has since been done up. So I don't know what that's becoming, because Hill's Bakery was brought out by Martin's Bakery, and Suntrap's always been Suntrap since 2009 Google Street Views.